Welcome, folks, to Nottingham Zoning Board of Adjustment. Opening our public meeting for this evening. I noticed that the agenda says this is a public hearing, but at this point, we've closed the public hearing. This is really just board deliberations. That's all right.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I think I still have to recuse myself.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yep. And so at this time, I'd like to seat Kevin Bassett, who was here for our previous meeting.
Accepted.
Thank you. All right, so when we last left off, we had some questions for our attorney on our procedure. It looked like we were okay. Did you guys all get a chance to read that email?
Yes.
And were you able to go do a site visit?
I did. I made an assessment of the, what I call the local neighborhood and the total road neighborhood. Local being the ones in sight of Lot 53 and then the rest of the road.
Yeah. Yeah, we went down there again as well. I did a rough estimate of all the houses. My estimate was a little smaller than what the actual tax card is for the applicant's home.
Mine
And
too.
I think I overestimated all of them slightly, you know, just rounded up for easier math. And the average of the 27 houses is 1,000 square feet.
I have mine if you want to compare.
Sure. Get yours on a spreadsheet.
Have a lot easier. I come up with 32
Houses?
places.
Yep.
You know,
I didn't count the 4 at the very end, White's Grove.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of the total, 25 were one-story, you know, camps,
Yeah.
small houses. 6 were two-story and 1 was three-story. And then from there, when you look at where lot 53 is, there is 5 that are one-story, 4 that are two-story. 2 of those 4, one has a steep pitch, so it's questionable, it's a real two-story, and one has a low roof. It's a two-story, but it's a small house. So that's 4/2, and then there is a three-story, not far from lot 53. So that's my sidewalk assessment. And from your comment, I don't think that's so different from
No.
what you said. The road is narrow. It's a quaint community, neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. All right. Did everybody get a chance to read the legal pieces?
Yep.
Any further discussion amongst the board?
I am going to submit my findings of facts probably tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I will, you know, outline what I was not prepared to vote for last week, excuse me, 2 days ago. And I will outline what I've learned, and then I will outline my decision tonight. I think
But we need to
that's-
have that discussion this evening.
Excuse me?
We need to have that discussion this evening.
We do.
Yes.
Understood.
Okay. Yeah,
I just have one thing. I think, one thing that makes this lot unique is, and the hardship, is that he has the power line in the back, so he cannot, many of the neighbors have said if he could move it back, they wouldn't have a problem with it. So he really can't because he has that power line that goes through there, so.
Is that a private power line?
Yeah, there's a New Hampshire co-op line that goes through there. Was it New Hampshire co-op?
Does it only service that house?
No, I think it's the whole,
that whole little string of houses across.
But her question is it a private, it's on somebody's
No,
private
it's-
land?
It's public,
No, I wanted to know if it serviced one house or several.
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 No,
And is it by right of way? Is it there by right of
it's
way?
right away, but it's on somebody's land.
Correct.
So that's, to answer her question,
It's not
It's on
serving
somebody's
his
land.
house.
right, what I'm saying is, there's some of the neighbors that suggested he move his house, turn it around, but he can't really because of the power line, so.
that is not on his land.
What's
The
that?
power line? Yeah, it is.
The power line's on
Yeah.
his,
Okay,
Yeah.
then,
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
It
makes
goes right over his driveway
Makes
currently
it-
and sheds currently
Okay,
right
so-
behind the house.
that's the answer to her question. The power line is on his land.
Yes.
Okay.
Goes over it. Yeah.
But he didn't make that presentation to us. It's not on the... There was no mention of special conditions in the hardship paragraph. Basically, they're saying exactly what our attorney said does not constitute hardship, that the house already exists with a single-family dwelling accessed by a private road, and that's similar or the same to almost all the properties down there.
But Bonnie, if we don't consider that a hardship, then we can't accept any private road request to build or expand.
If we don't accept what, the private road is a hardship?
Correct. If and many of them have come to us since I've been on the ZBA and have said that the private road is their hardship and their lot sizes, and we've gone with that. We need to be careful that we're constantly using the same. And if we're changing it now because of the lawyer, then we have to still.
I disagree with you. I don't remember having this kind of issue ever since I've been on the board.
That a private road has been the
And our
hardship?
attorney
No,
specifically said the private road does not create a
So-
hardship.
So to me, it's a two-pronged piece. Many of the applications that come before us, it's an empty piece of land. And if we were to hold fast to the rule, then they would be completely deprived of being able to use their property by not having a house at all. Right? But in this case, he has reasonable use of his land. He has one of the larger houses in the neighborhood.
I think it was the second
It's
largest.
the second largest or tied third.
Largest
And he
lot,
could make it 2 stories.
largest land size
Yes.
in the neighborhood.
Right.
Not necessarily largest house, but
Oh, yes, physically the largest house.
No,
There's a couple that are
there's a
larger.
3-story that's,
Yeah,
you would call larger,
yeah,
but it's a lot. He has a largest lot.
He has a larger
in-
lot.
In his local neighborhood.
correct.
So we hold that against him.
No, my piece is that he already has reasonable use of his property. He has a 4-season home of equitable size to all the others in the neighborhood. I think, to me, it comes down to the reasonableness.
And most of the lots are substandard. His is,
Everybody in that neighborhood has undersized lots. They're all non-conforming lots.
and his attorney says the proposed use is a reasonable one, and that's another question. And he states, because the proposed use will be similar in size and utility to other dwellings in the immediate area. And it really is not similar in size at all. It's way,
maybe he also wants to put an ADU into house, is your mother, or, yeah. So I mean, that's unique, that's that would be a hardship, that he wouldn't be able to put something in to bring in his elderly person into his house.
The hardship has to be a condition of the land.
Well, the
Not of
condition of
the
the land
house.
is the power line. He can't, some of the neighbors said, you know, can't you move it out and back? And he said, I would, but I can't because of the power
With
line.
respect to the ADU,
What's that?
with respect to the ADU.
Yeah, they wanted
Yeah,
him
with
to
respect to
put
that addition on the end, they had asked him if he could put the garage around, and he said he couldn't because of the power line.
Well, I think given the character of the neighborhood, which is mostly houses of about 1,000 square feet, it would be substantially changing the neighborhood, possibly to the detriment. I mean, we have not had any abutters come here speaking in favor of this. We've had some that have been sort of neutral, but they've all had some little beef. And often when we have a case, we have people from the neighborhood come and support the application. So that's a concern for me, that we seem to have abutters who are not wild about this idea. And if you go down there and look at the character of the neighborhood, you can maybe understand that what he proposes is kind of shocking compared to what's there.
I will
You don't have
concur
27 of
with
them,
the-
though, complaining. You only have a few. Maybe the other people don't really care, so they figured it
Well,
didn't.
our notification system is only the direct abutters. The only people who are noticed by mail are the 6 around him, maybe.
And we've had quite a few of those here, 3 or 4.
Was the sixth, but yes, it is the ones that touch his property.
Right, so it's
And we only
7,
have
8.
You can look at the abutting
Yep,
list.
yep. It's in our,
It's not in your binder.
oh,
Can I ask the applicant 2 questions?
is it something, well, the public hearing isn't open.
Okay.
This is board deliberations. What do you need clarification on?
Did we hear that the existing house is staying and being added onto, or is it being bulldozed and there's a new house?
I think it's being torn down.
Do we have those facts? Is the existing house unlivable?
I don't think so.
No. There was a car there
No,
when we were down.
I think what he said was it was just because you want to add on a different thing, it would be more cost effective to take the house down and put a new structure up.
I don't believe that's the plan. That is what I said.
Regardless, I think the original footprint stays.
Stays the
Plus it
same.
comes back a little, and then it gets the
Understood,
angled extension wing, and then the
Understood.
whole second floor.
understood. As long as there's not a means to the end. You're going in for a hardship, but you're going in for a brand-new house at the same time.
The butters list
That's
is
not a
9.
hardship.
Nope, 4.
I do support Bonnie's condition about the abutters.
It's often that we don't get abutters at all, but for someone to actually come here and complain, and someone has even hired an attorney to come, I take from that the abutters are very concerned. And I went down there with Mike yesterday, and the neighborhood looked even more congested to me than it did when we went, wasn't there snow the last time we went there? Maybe it was.
That was
in the
raining,
spring.
I know that. It was earlier spring, like June.
And the tolerances between buildings and whether the setbacks from the right-of-way that's private, it just seemed that it would be a behemoth among a bunch of tadpoles, to me.
The abutters list, Joanna, it lists 4 through 9. Where are 1, 2, and 3?
Up top?
Oh, so Oh, I see, it's applicant information, owner information. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 abutters have been notified.
Well, and then that one doesn't include the whites. That list doesn't.
7.
They were an add-on.
7 abutters are notified.
Did the applicant give any reason why a new house was needed? In other words, the old house was unlivable and had to be.
No.
Is that a question that's worth asking?
I don't think so.
Well,
We know
to
it's
me-
livable.
To
It's
me, it is.
livable.
What's that?
I mean, it's an occupied house,
So so your assumption is livable today?
yes.
So that is driving my decision, honestly.
So now as a board, we're gonna make judgments on what people have to live in? I mean, you go down any road in Pawtuckaway, and there's big houses, there's
No,
little
no, no, no.
houses, there's
The
all kinds of
hardship
houses.
issue is, can I put a garage in my property? Hardship is, can I do an ADU on my property? Hardship is, can I expand my house to make it a better house? Those are the issues. So each one of those individually, if he came for an ADU, it's a hardship, there may be a decision. A garage, there may be a decision. My house is not livable, sills rotted, etc. It's a small house, I want to make a bigger house, etc. They're somewhat separate in this case. So to combine them all is an issue. So if the house is being added onto as is, that's one thing. But to make a whole new house is how do I want to say it? You're taking advantage of the hardship that you are doing for an ADU.
So that it
And
comes to the
that-
reasonableness
That is
test.
my crux
It's not reasonable.
Right.
now. So otherwise, I would be in favor, and I think it's my time to say, why did I abstain? I didn't have enough information, I now have enough information. And if the existing, and I'll be very honest, if the existing house is being added onto, I would still abstain, for the reasons here come. I think that you can do an ADU, you can do a garage, you can improve your house, okay? The negative side of that is the abutters. Bonnie's point, there is a lot of strong point to the abutters, okay? I would still abstain tonight. Because of those two things, I am equal on both. Because the house is being improved upon because of the ADU, because of the other things, I have to side on the other side. I don't know why the house has to be bulldozed, for lack of better words. And that's where I am at tonight, if I had to make a decision now. If those are the facts, you know,
You know,
and I don't know if those are the facts.
To me, if it was me building on this lot, he's also asking for 2 garages, two-car garages. I've only seen a few houses that have garages, maybe 3 or 4 in the whole neighborhood.
there aren't that big a lot. This is a big lot.
This is a big lot, and that's
It's
why
a
I don't.
weird shape.
And I noticed that
Big,
none of our,
less than 2 acres. It's not a big lot.
right, for
any
the
means.
neighborhood
For
it's
the
big.
lake, it's a big lot.
No.
For the lake and the neighborhood.
One
it's big.
point five acre is a big lot for the lake.
It doesn't matter. It's not a big lot.
But
One
to
half
me,
acre
to
is
me,
fine.
again, if I was doing it for me, I would look at a 3 or 4 car garage at the back of the lot with a detached ADU on top of it. That's not crowding all the front where that is. You're gonna create, if you do a 2-story house as proposed, encroaching right up on the edge of your property line and that little lane that dead ends behind those other people's houses now, you're gonna create an alley. It's gonna feel like an alley, because you're gonna have two and a half story here and 2 two and a half story here. You're creating an alley back there. That's substantially changing that neighborhood. If this was all moved to the back of the lot, I wouldn't even blink an eye, because that's not encroaching on people, and it's not, it matches, it would look like another house back there, and you wouldn't know that it was
Do you mean the whole
part of it.
house?
No, I think, like where you're putting your equipment storage shed, if that was larger, I know it's not the public hearing, but.
Public hearing is
my-
closed.
The public hearing is closed, but to me, if you went back there, you're away from your neighbors.
And maybe you must be attached to the house. That's the whole.
You can ask for it not to be. That's only in the zoning ordinance of Nottingham. It does not have to be
The state
according
allows
to the
it.
state.
And we just granted one Tuesday.
After you left last week, we granted a
Detached.
750 square feet was her only option, and she had 15 acres.
But sometimes if somebody needs, you know, you want the house together for, you know, assisted living too, sometimes.
Just to
You
clarify.
don't want the person in the back 40 with.
Please.
5 people with 1 bathroom, is that hardship? That's not considered hardship.
The public hearing is closed. Please.
He did mention that in his initial,
Well,
he did mention that in his original presentation.
a hardship has nothing to do with the building he's building, and has nothing to do with his wants and desires. It's not what it's based on legally.
Right.
So
But it has to do with special conditions of the land.
Well, the power lines.
you can
are
add
special
another
condition.
Agreed. But you could also renovate the house on its existing footprint, easily add a bathroom.
add a whole second story. There are plenty of options.
Right, but you know, these are old cabins. These were never built as,
No,
This-
that's not,
this-
that's not.
This one looks like a regular
This was
house.
built
Yeah,
in the
this is a
60s, I
regular
think, or 70s. It's not
And-
that old.
Many of the
And
neighbors'
the board should have done
houses
a
together.
formal sidewalk, from my opinion.
You mean together, then that makes it
Well,
a quorum, we can't
We've
really
done it
do that.
individually.
can.
Did you go?
Yeah,
Did
you
you
can
go?
continue the meeting to do a
I've been
sidewalk.
down.
We've already done it.
But then we could have a collective public meeting,
Yes,
and,
Oh, a public sidewalk.
well, if you do a sidewalk, I think it's a public meeting.
yes, it
I
is.
think we did
So-
2 sidewalks, I know that I did and Mike
And
did.
I asked if I missed it, and there wasn't one planned.
No,
And I said, okay.
no, we generally go on our own in ones or twos, because if we have 3, it's a quorum.
Sure, sure.
If you're requesting one,
That might have alleviated some of the questions.
do you guys
That we
feel
are-
that that would be
That we
appropriate?
have forward.
No.
The board? No? Okay. Yeah, to me, it's about reasonable and hardship. And reading the 64-page treatise from '09, that was one of the two big pieces were, you know, about changing your zoning ordinance to avoid these kinds of situations if you keep bumping into them, and we do.
The only reason it's even here is because it's a private road. It's the only
We
reason
have
this
lots
is
of
here.
private roads in this
No,
town.
but what I'm saying is,
but he wouldn't be
he
here. He
wouldn't be
would build
here.
this with nothing.
Exactly. He would have had a building permit, have been building it if it hadn't been for the fact that it's on a private road. That's what blows my mind with this
That's not a
whole
reason,
thing.
though, for granting a variance. That is not a
And the
legal
private road
reason.
is.
I get that,
a
Our
quaint-
attorney even
it's a
said
But
it.
what I'm saying is that you're denying him something he could have had if it hadn't been that he's on Whites Grove Road.
And
His
had more-
neighbors
and
would have
had
had
more
nothing to
acreage.
say about it.
And had more acreage.
In a
Well, because he
very-
meets all setbacks.
So that's the purpose of the zoning board, is that safety valve for balancing the public need. We didn't create those non-conforming lots of
No,
teeny
we didn't.
size.
The
But we're,
Whites,
but we're here,
we did, and all the others that have the lakes.
exactly. So we are here to be helpful in balancing the rights of the individual property owner, our applicant tonight, and the people in the neighborhood.
But most of the discussion from the abutters, aside from the one who hired the lawyer, was about the private road and the road closure. That was the biggest discussion about this whole case for the last 3 times we've heard it.
It's not a reason that we can decide on either.
Right.
But perhaps the applicant will do some politicking with his neighbors and get that sticky wicket ironed out.
Yeah, that's not part of our,
That's not our purview.
I know it's not, but that was the major discussion that was allowed over and over and over again.
I wouldn't call it major.
It was 2 hours the Tuesday night,
I was very tired.
so was I.
Yeah. The road is not in discussion
no.
at all.
Any
But
further?
it's influencing the decision. But it is influencing the
It
decision.
better not.
Not for
It
me.
is.
It better not. It is not part of our decision-making process.
It-
That road with boulders and such.
That's not our
Nothing to do
issue.
with our decision.
Nope.
Our
Absolutely
decision
not.
is the 5 criteria.
Right. Do you guys want to hold individual votes on the 5 criteria? That's within our purview.
I don't think it's necessary from my point of view.
I think most of us have been over the pieces of this case more than any case
More than
I can
once.
I
remember.
will, but
You guys ready to vote?
I need a motion.
I think, yeah, I've heard all that I need to hear from everybody,
Me too.
from the lawyers. I'm open to a motion.
Do you want me to make a motion? Let me find the case number.
18005.
Mr. Chairman, regarding case number 18005-VA-continuation on the application from Peter Lozier and Joy V. Rydell requesting a variance from Article 2, Section C:1, letter A of the Nottingham zoning ordinance to permit an addition, a large equipment shed, and ADU/garage on a private road. The property is located at 53 Whites Grove Road in Nottingham, New Hampshire, and is identified as tax map 63, lot 81, and I move that we deny this application for reasons that we have stated. Failure to meet the 5 criteria, all 5 of the 5 criteria.
Second?
Did you second it?
I did. Did you catch that? All in favor of Bonnie's denial? There you go. All opposed? Got that? So, I'm going to stay and do my written decision, but Kevin's got to go. He'll get you his written decision in the next day or so.
yeah.
Do you have a
Probably
pen you
send
can
it-
loan me?
I'll probably send it to your
Last
email.
time.
I'll send it to your email, is that okay? And then,
hear that?
when I can, I'll drop off a hard copy or
Send
whatever.
it to you by email?
Yes, and then, yeah, you can send it, I mean,
Can the meeting be adjourned now that we've voted?
Yes.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
See
Make
ya.
a motion?
Good luck with your mom. Yeah, she did. I second you.
Is your mom sick,
So we
Kevin?
didn't do the minutes
We're gonna do those next time.
next time.